Hello and welcome to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2EN. This is going to be a two-game series, the only one for the American region tonight, but it'll be Archon versus Keystars. I'm Grandis V, and I'll be joined by Mike Loris for this game and the one to follow.
All right, it should be a pretty good one. Keystars, they didn't really have to play that many games to get here. Their qualifiers kind of fell through because one team failed to show up, but hey, they're here anyway, and that's what matters. Archon has to work a little bit harder. But Keystars, at any rate, a team with a lot of heart, but it's going up against Archon, and there's a lot to be said about that. So, though Keystars definitely can tie it up, I don't really know the odds of them taking it 2-0. Very slim there, I think.
Yeah, and that should be their goal. If they could just tie this series, that means a lot for them in this group, and we'll have to see if they're able to accomplish just that. For now, Archon have first pick after seeing Darkseer, Queen of Pain, Doom, and Nightstalker being banned out. Maybe a Shadow Fiend for them, Winter Wyvern. There's so many different options here for Archon.
Now it is kind of interesting just having casted a whole bunch of other regions games to see the switch right now. Keystars and South American teams in general do favor Spirit Breaker a hell of a lot more. I think that's the really big trend, but it seems like Archon, they're going to grab the Slardar as the first pick, maybe for minus armor reasons, as a strategy down the line, but hell, just as a pick in and of itself, I'm getting a little bit more on board with it. Plays kind of like Centaur, except a lot more offensive.
Yeah, and also offers a little bit more utility for the team when it comes to taking objectives. Although, of course, having Stampede to bail you out is nice and all. Being able to go in for Roshan and being able to amplify everybody's damage on your team can make you do either an absurd amount of physical DPS or make drafts that otherwise wouldn't be right-clicking that hard still be able to scale in that respect. So, yeah, I think the Slardar pick in general is working really well for a lot of teams, and it's something that Archon have been favoring vastly over the last couple of drafts. For Keystars, it's going to be the Tusk. No big surprises there. He's another one of those heroes that's always going to be able to offer something. Even if Slardar and Tusk fall super far behind, they're going to offer a good amount of utility to the team. Then to follow up that Tusk, it's going to be Winter Wyvern, then Broodmother's second pick by Archon.
All right, so for Keystars, they definitely have a ton of defensive power with these two heroes, especially if you are going to go for a minus armor strategy that involves a lot of physical. Therefore, Winter Wyvern's Embrace is going to be put at a premium. That being said, Winter Wyvern can only embrace one person at a time, and you're not always going to be able to save everyone. Tusk Snowball, I guess, will save someone else in theory at least. But Archon, they grab the Broodmother and Slardar. If Keystars don't ban out a Dazzle right now, then they're just asking to be demolished, or they could pick it up, which actually isn't too bad either, I suppose. But yeah, Archon, they are not going to get their hands on Dazzle. That's good. If you let that through, then you're kind of asking for it.
Archon themselves are going to ban out the Shadow Fiend, maybe setting up for a Templar Assassin in their mid, but regardless, the Broodmother Slaughter is so terrifying to go up against. It opens up a lot of space on this map. You have to deal with the Broodmother. Slaughter, once he gets the blink, is going to set up Kill globally. Although, as you mentioned, the defensive power of Tuscan Winter Wyvern is very strong. Right now, I'm not sure if they're super well equipped to deal with the pressure that's going to be going their way very soon.
Tusk and Winter Wyvern both kind of very average up against Broodmother as far as clearing her spiders are concerned. There, I mean, Tusk is pretty good at actually getting on top of the Broodmother and killing her off. Keystars do need a little bit more catch if they're going to successfully deal with this Brood, really regardless of what lane she's going to go in. And then, of course, you have to worry about the top lane, whoever is going to go up there, whether it's an off-lane Tusk or they're going to grab someone else to put it up there. Slardar really just is a hero that you want to have as part of that lane, just because it is a carry hero, or at least a farming hero who has a stun, and that in and of itself is going to open up many, many doors. Even if it were to be a Darkseer, not possible, Slardar is the hero that can actually punish that.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, Archon are lacking there's supports, most importantly, this game, but still with plenty of good ones available inside the pool. We'll have to see what they favor. The Sounds from a Scythe Mage could be pretty good, but Tusk is fairly good at getting on top of the sky and blowing him up. Still, it's kind of nice to have that counterplay against the Cold Embrace to just drop a Mystic Flare there, and a lot of burst damage from the supports could be useful. The minus armor supports, however, are few and far between. Dazzle's the big one right now, but I have seen Archon pull out Avenge.
We just saw a couple of Vengeful Spirits earlier today. They both were, let's say, less than impressive. It was a first departure. So, yeah, they got smashed by MVP Phoenix. It is still a very potent combo if you could line it up properly. And in that lane, assume it's going to be just Vengeful Spirit, Slardar, maybe one other person, maybe not. But Magic Missile into Crush, it's a hell of a lot of stun duration, first of all, and the right clicks with the Amplify damage, even if it's not level 6 Slardar just yet. can be enough to get kills on really any given target. That might be what Archon is angling for. However, if that is going to be the case, probably not till fourth pick, maybe even fifth pick.
Yeah.
You could usually wait very long time if you want to go for that because an Vengeful Spirit at the end of the day is a replaceable hero as far as what she does. Generally considered not to be the strongest support hero in the stage of the game. Wind Ranger instead is going to be the pick here for Key Stars.
And a Spirit Breaker for Archon. This is a lineup that just oozes aggression coming out from Archon. I think the pick that was in contention in the second or in the first stage of the second picking phase was the Templar Assassin for both of these teams, and Keystars are going to leave that on the board. If Archon want to snag that for themselves, they have so many ways to abuse the map and take pretty much every bit of farm there, and with that minus armor scaling between meld, between the amp damage, they'd be able to take this game reasonably late. Although Wind Ranger does have Windrun to survive against a lot of what Archon would bring to the table now, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough in and of itself. It just doesn't last long enough with the amount of chase that Archon have in particular.
I mean, Archon, they do have three melee heroes, but these are three melee heroes that, as you said, are really great at keeping up with you and killing you off afterwards. But, oh, I like this pick for Key Stars.
Yeah.
Archon, though they do have, in theory, a little bit of physical burst once they actually get their ultimates up, like Slaughters especially. Enchantress, which I'm assuming is going to go towards offlane, I guess can be played in that jungle, is going to be, in some situations, very difficult for Archon to actually kill off. Like Spirit Breaker, he's usually low level, therefore doesn't have a lot of attack speed. You may be able to land a charge into Enchantress, but it's actually hard to actually hit her any times after that. Same thing with the Slaughter, kind of the same thing for the Broodmother. Enchantress is going to be a very hard hero to dislodge, and it's going to even give Keystars that much more sustainability in those fights with those sprites.
The Skywrath Mage feels stronger and stronger for Archon now. That silence and the magic damage burst against the Enchantress in particular is going to be very useful. For an Ench, especially an offlane solo situation, she is going to rely on getting about level 3 before she is able to survive against the Spirit Breaker and the Slaughter. And if you just have a really hard zoning support that's able to zone her out, that is going to make her laning stage difficult in and of itself, and then you have a counter later down the line that you're able to burst her with. But Templar Assassin now for Archon, maybe they don't need to get any more than just one hit apiece if they get the amp damage onto the Enchantress to just blow her up. The Templar Assassin has a scary amount of synergy with the Slardar, and Archon in general have a draft that's terrifying. There's not another way to put it. They're going to be able to take Roshan at a very quick stage, and while they're fighting, Broodmother should have more than enough space to get a lot of farm. Although early on, this Broodmother could struggle. Once she hits about level 5 or so, I think she's going to be just fine. The ban coming up from Keystars is going to be Lina. Another stun to throw into the mix with the Slaughter, and also is going to bring that magic nuke damage to the table. I think it's a reasonable ban, but Archon's first four are just so synergistic in the timing windows that they're going to be able to hit.
Once you get those blink daggers on the Slaughter, on the Templar Assassin, Broodmother, really a little bit more linear, as is the supporty-oriented Spirit Breaker. But if Keystars don't get a good advantage in those lanes, then come the mid-game, they're going to almost be exclusively on the defensive. In which case, yeah, they do have a couple tools to maybe ensure that they will get out of there from time to time. But Archon, they're going to step up the pressure, and the really only downside is that they're pushing, as far as towers are concerned, more on the weaker side. Broodmother can do it very well, but usually isn't going to be in that massive push. He's going to be split pushing, so very different styles of push there. I feel like the Winter Wyvern for Keystars is going to be, without a doubt, the most important hero, not just for the Embrace to save yourself up against all these right-click heroes up against Archon, but also for that curse, because Templar Assassin, though she is technically ranged, doesn't really have a ton of it. So you can easily catch a curse on, 3, maybe 4 of the heroes that Archon have already, and then that'll allow the Phantom Assassin now to just go ham.
Yeah, Phantom Assassin is a very interesting pick here. There is going to be a large portion of the game where her blur is going to get a lot of value, and where she is going to be able to avoid getting hit quite often. Archon do rely very heavily on being able to hit you, even if it's not about the physical damage, but just Spirit Breaker being able to bash and whatnot. A lot of it's based on hit effects. That said, the Phantom Assassin, once MKB comes out for the Templar Assassin, or maybe even Sardo goes for a Silver Edge this game, I wouldn't mind that in the slightest. This game could be very difficult for Leposo. We'll have to see how they play it. There is going to be a big window where the Phantom Assassin is strong, but I think this game, more than most, she kind of has to go for the Battle Fury first, which might delay her effectiveness. And even the few hits that Archon Air are able to connect, even through Blur, might be enough for her to just be dropped instantly inside the fight. The RNG effect is always there with the Phantom Assassin. We'll have to see how it plays out for Keystars. I do like these last 3 picks, because they are very good at dealing with a very right-click, physical damage-oriented draft. But is it going to be enough? I think the synergy is just so tight with Archon that it might not be.
I mean, it's the synergy as one thing, but also for Archon, they just have heroes who inherently are going to be more aggressive. Therefore, Archon are going to be, for the most part, calling the shots. And if you're able to, keep the game going the way that you want it to go, if you're able to force the enemies to be purely responsive, maybe teleports a couple more times, force out enemy movements, keep them from stacking or, holding enough gold for whatever big item they want to go for because they keep having to buy those TP scrolls. That's like a lot of small incremental advantages for Archon, just being able to call the shots, and the heroes definitely do excel at that. So yeah, I'm kind of fearful for Keystars, but you gotta remember that if they do somehow survive that late game stage, PA is PA, and she can handle a game by herself.
Ooh, Tusk's gonna bump into this Slardar. Hopefully he'll give me some time to introduce the teams. Right now, Jubilu probably in no threat right now. They're not gonna charge. So Moo is going to be playing the Slardar for Archon, Fluff and Stuff on the Spirit Breaker. Templar Assassin will be handled by Jo, Broodmother by Monkeys, and last but not least, Crystal Maiden by Whitebeard.
I am not going to remember all of those names because they're just way too many for me. But luckily for me, Keystars, they are, for the most part, tagged up properly. Jubilu is up on top as the Tusk. We got Vestius on the Enchantress. Both is on the Phantom Assassin and is on the Winter Wyvern. That leaves Yuka on the Wind Ranger. And seems like it's probably going to be the standard bounty for bounty trade. Probably also standard, defensive Triline, actually. Enchantress is going to be going towards the jungle.
Yeah, interesting. I really thought they'd put the Enchantress in the top lane, with or without the Tusk. I think that could work out for them nicely, but that is going to give them a slight advantage over Archon, since they have this Enchantress that's going to be farming in the jungle a little bit faster than CM's farm, but for the most part, this laning stage is going to be very much mirrored on either side. Mid lane matchup, Templar Assassin versus Wind Ranger can go either way. There's small peaks in power here and there. For now, Yuka is just putting the screws to this poor Templar Assassin. But, yeah, for the most part, we're in for a passive start, but the aggression could be ramped up at any moment. If there is a good rune, about level 3 is where you'd expect these kills to start happening.
Vestius does have a smoke level 1. Enchantress is not really the best hero at killing off a Broodmother. I mean, they have a lot of slows, which may be enough to kill off this spider. It really is over towards mid lane where the Enchantress wants to get that kill. Yuka, as you said, is just putting the screws to this Templar Assassin. 0 CS for this TA so far. I mean, Yuka doesn't have a ton either, but this is just the range advantage coming into play. And Templar Assassin, she's already forced to chug down her Sal, which is going to be canceled by Yuka. Oh man, this is tough for the TA, and it might be a little bit tougher should Enchantress find a good creep. The Wild Wing is not that good creep.
Yeah, that means so much that Salve gets canceled. Now she's so far away from having her bottle, and I don't see her being able to pick that up. She hasn't her refraction. With the Crystal Maiden's aura, she's able to spam with those refractions a little bit, but up towards top, Ice Shard's going to wall off Jubilu. Trying to get in range for the crush is impossible. And this move was a little too far behind, so Archon aren't going to be able to get the kill on this Tusk, but now Crystal Maiden's with the wraparound. Can they kill off this Wind Ranger? She is posting up so aggressively, but with a Tornado and with Wind Run, this is going to be very difficult, and I want to say impossible. They will throw the bite over towards Yuka, but she'll be able to back off and salve up. This Wind Ranger is going to be just fine.
The Tornado now coming into play, so this is not really a creep that lets you kill. This is a creep that is meant to annoy. And at this point, the Tornado just does very little damage very frequently, so it cuts right through the refraction. There's like a 10 damage threshold or something like that. So she's still taking that harassment damage. Not much that she can do about this except for a sit back and accept the fact that Tornado is going to be doing some damage here.
They will charge up towards the north. This is a hasted Jubilu, however. He has Snowball and Ice Shard soon. Fluff and Stuff is taking a fight that maybe he doesn't want to. Depends if Jubilu finds the angle. He's going to go up towards north. He finds Whitebeard perfectly walling off the Crystal Maiden. Pops this Mango, has this Snowball. This should be a kill, although a charge through is going to not actually do very much because of the Snowball. Now turning around onto Fluff and Stuff. They try to kill off the Spirit Breaker. The crush is coming in from Moo. If he can get in range for it, sprinting forward, looks for Jubilu, finds him. One smack, and that's going to be Moo to drop for his blood. An extended chase that, if they were able to find the angle, would have been first blood for Keystars, but nice rotation in from the safe lane farmer of Archon.
Might be the first time ever where Crystal Maiden outruns someone. Granted, the chase wasn't that long, but still, 280 movement speed and CM is going to get that kill assist and probably just go straight back to jungling. Getting that first blood on Slardar is huge. I mean, you want to get power treads if you can, but really it's the race for the Blink Dagger that is going to activate this Slardar in this game, and it seems like Slardar is going to have to do a little bit more heavy lifting simply because this Templar Assassin is having so much trouble. So getting that additional bit of gold, maybe getting a slightly faster Blink Dagger, maybe getting slightly
Oh,
active.
dust down towards bottom. They're going for Monkeys. They're going to jump onto him with the Blink Strike. Monkeys is dropping low. They'll get another slow applied towards him, but this Broodmother is juking them quite effectively. He's going to drop the spawn Spiralings, kills the Winter Wyvern, and Laposa just doesn't have the appropriate detection to keep on chasing Rest, and now Monkeys wants more. He's going to go for this PA kill. He has no spawn Spiderlings in 1 second. He has a Soul Ring for it. Doesn't even need it, it looks like, with the poison damage and the Spiders. Double kill for Monkeys. And this Broodmother was already having a good time. Now it's amazing.
She was working with a really large Spiderling army. I mean, usually the Spiderling army gets really big at level 7 or level 3 spawn Spiderlings is when it gets really huge, but they were just unprepared for that many spiders. I think like Splinter Blast is in theory a decent skill at killing off those spiders, but not when it's level 2 and not when there's that many of them. So Broodmother grabs 2 kills and sitting in her webs, now going to regenerate very quickly back up to at least fightable amounts of HP. She has 1,300 gold in the bank. Regardless of what Monkeys Forever really wanted to go for an item, I think he now has access to go for that Quick Hand of Midas.
Yeah, and I think that's usually his build on the Broodmother, and most Broods will go for the Midas before they back off for any other items. This is just going to accelerate it to a ridiculously fast one. Up towards top, the Tusk is going to be running away from this Slider, and it looks like successfully so. Fluff and Stuff probably won't be continuing this charge. He's going under the tower. This Spirit Breaker doesn't care. He's going to find the bashes to get this kill. Jubilu has an Ice Shard. Fluff and Stuff has bitten off way more than he can chew. He gets a bash, looking for the TP. It's going to succeed, it seems. Close call.
What?
Oh my goodness, I'm not sure why you continue that charge, but you know what, he makes it alive, although it does cost him 75 gold to crush there onto Jubilu. He's out of mana. Maybe it's a delayed bait coming up from the Spirit Breaker. Slardar going into the tower, and this time around they will probably kill him off, and they will. TPing for the Wind Ranger won't be successful getting a kill onto the Slardar, so I suppose that deep charge works, although delayed.
It was all according to the plan. They were just supposed to keep the Tusk there, and the charge is actually going to bounce over to Yuka now. Seems like the Slaughter doesn't really want any part of this, and this time Fluff and Stuff doesn't want any of it either. I think that's the right decision, I gotta say. Diving the tier 1 as a level 2 Spirit Breaker, that takes some serious balls, and he gets away with it, so I guess that those guts are founded in something, but either way, it's a kill for, again, the Slaughter, and he is so very close to that Blink, and he might even be able to get Blink and Power Treads by the time he's really ready to roam around.
It's actually going to be a Force Staff first. Okay, fair enough. The argument between Force Staff and Blink, it's very slim, the difference between them. I personally like the Blink Dagger, especially if you're having this good of a time, but the extra mana pool from Force Staff is going to help, and oh, bottom, yeah, they're going to go for this Winter Wyvern. Easy kill from Monkeys. He just pops like a balloon. There's nothing you can do to keep yourself alive, and now diving for the Phantom Assassin. He has so many Spires to tank the tower for this. In the meantime, the Spirit Breaker kills off the Tusk. Phantom Assassin now going to look for Monkeys. It doesn't look like they have detection. The Phantom Assassin still dropping very low. Pops the Soaring, pops the PA. That's going to be a double kill for Monkeys Forever. Again, on a dominating spree. This Enchantress, she's going to get her creep Midas and probably will die. Triple kill for Monkeys. You can't stop this brood.
Winter Wyvern should not be coming in here. This is a really bad idea with so many Spiderlings. She can easily just move onto this Winter Wyvern, and Embrace will save her for a little while, but here comes the Spiders. Oh, this is going to hurt.
Spawn Spiderlings. This time around it is going to create extra spiders, but one way or another this Winter Wyvern's going to fall. This is going to be a delayed Ultra kill unless PA comes in. The Winter Wyvern will die, but Phantom Assassin ends the mega kill spree. That's a play worth it for the Winter Wyvern to make, at the very least. Since the Phantom Assassin's the one to collect big, but now Slaughter is coming in with that Force Staff. Crush Initiation. He's going to bump into the Tusk right around the corner. He's going to amp him up. Crushes there. Jubilu's taking a lot of damage, but is it enough to get this kill? He throws the Ice Shards, get vision to the creeps, but doesn't decide to snowball. He doesn't need it yet. The Tusk will survive. Now brings in the PA and backup. The Slaughter is taking out a lot of enemy heroes here, but now it's the Crystal Maiden coming in from the north. They're going to crush down Loposa. A lot of physical damage on his PA. Force Staff away. The Shackle still latches, and Moo is going to be power shot and right click down. Phantom Assassin with a secondary kill in this bottom lane. Now chasing forward for Whitebeard. Ice Shard so off to Crystal Maiden. However, the Broodmother is able to walk over those. It doesn't matter. The Phantom Assassin is going to find herself yet another one.
All right, so that's the downside, of course, of going for this initiation item and then immediately going for those aggressive plays. We saw how much damage that Slaughter was able to do with the minus armor into the Crush, which is physical, so, you know, get extra value there. The problem is that he has no attack speed. He has no power treads or anything like that, and he should probably be going for an item or something along those lines as his next pickup. But going for solo kills, I mean, I'm saying solo kills, technically CM was there, but she's only level 3, is really, really difficult if you don't have the right clicks afterwards. He landed, like, what, couple of right clicks, like 2 or 3 or something like that. They do a lot of damage because of Amplify, but it's not going to be an easy kill from there
For
on out unless
Laposa.
you're able to
Look at
kite for
these
another
stupid
crush.
spiders. They're not going to stop. They do have a lot of heroes around the corner. We'll be able to Splinter Blast those down, but Slaughter is now coming in very quickly. Sprinted up, but the Tusk is faster with the Haste Rune. They'll Cold Embrace up the Phantom Assassin, but this is 4 heroes forced to deal with 2 coming out from Archon. This buys a lot of space, especially for the TA, and up in top lane, the Spirit Breaker that's now getting some quality alone time with Creep Wave there. So he's able to get some farm. This Spirit Breaker is looking more like an offlane Spirit Breaker than a support because the Slaughter is moving so much.
So this is getting, as you said, a lot of time for this Templar Assassin who needs that recovery time up against the Wind Ranger. And Keith Stars, they really can't afford to, commit anything less than what they are already committing on this bottom lane. Else that hero, whatever that hero may be, is just going to die. Like, Monkey Star is just going to jump right in towards end. This time, the Winter Wyvern's amplified for a little bit. Look at this. This is disgusting. How is this fair?
If you're the Winter Wyvern, it's really not. They might be able to kill some of these spiders, but Winter Wyvern will go down munched by the Broodmother, and here comes the Slaughter. Amp again on the Phantom Assassin. They'll look for the Crush, getting in range with the Sprint. They're going to be able to find Laposa. That's another double kill for Monkeys. He's found so much on this bottom lane. Even though they've killed off this Brood once, she has Midas, Power Tread, Soul Ring. They're going to look for another kill here, and it's going to be on Jubilee. They'll find it. Spirit Breaker will be able to bring down the offlane Tusk 4-11 as Archon feels like they're outmaneuvering the enemy a little bit, although Whitebeard is going to be pretty banged up after that.
Well, this is definitely the exception to the Broodmother rule. Like, yeah, Broodmother should have an okay time down this bottom lane. Not this great a time. Like, this amount of net worth on any hero 10 minutes in is just not supposed to happen, with Midas also. So, you have the casual 2,000 golds, at 10 minutes in after having bought Power Treads and Midas. At this point, she can actually go for anything, but I think it seems like a Dagon game. You just got to zap down that Enchantress, and you're so far ahead, you might as well insta-get people while you're at it.
Yeah, I like the Dagon choice quite a lot from the Broodmother. Orchid also holds some merit. I don't know. Whatever it is, just get a big item that's going to help you kill people, Brood. Or maybe play things a little bit on the safer side, but right now, the Dust is going to connect. Monkeys is going to be caught out. The Ice Shards don't wall him off. He's still very fast. Snowball through is going to kill a lot of those spiders, and he brings allies, but it's not quite fast enough, even though they have the Centaur in. That Snowball connected could have been a kill. In the meantime, the Slaughter is isolated. He's going to be doing battle against the Phantom Assassin. Shackle, Winter's Curse, although Shackle doesn't latch, it doesn't matter. Wind Ranger draws the blood of this Slaughter, who's been playing so very aggressively. They'll get a crit on the dagger onto Monkeys, drop down to half HP. They have detection still. The Dust remains. Another dagger crit. A power shot from long range. Yuka's on the double kill. My goodness, the crit luck coming out from Laposa. That was insane.
15%. 15% twice. I think if either of those 2 daggers don't crit, then, I mean, the kill's just not there. So Laposa's definitely been practicing his Phantom Assassin. And that being said, Archon, yeah, they lose a couple heroes down the bottom lane. A very high priority loss in that Broodmother. The space creep that she created is already starting to kick into gear. Like, she's pretty much already done her job, even if she dies like a couple of additional times. Yeah, it's going to be really nice for Key Stars, but it's not really the end of the world for Archon. They can afford to have a Broodmother who's, even with the Wind Ranger in this game. That'll be perfectly fine for them because this Templar Assassin, who had an absolutely abysmal start, now is 2nd place in the net worth, has a Mythril Hammer, so she's going to go for that Desolator, so even more minus armor, but this is also going to activate the push, which so far has not really been on fully for Archon. A little bit of damage here and there. They're taking down the Broodmother's tower, obviously, but yeah, then once the Broodmother Slaughter make those type of plays, even if Key Stars get those kills, they're going to be losing towers elsewhere.
Yeah, and Broodmother, it looks like Monkeys might be going for a Deso on the Brood too. Under normal circumstances, I really like this build, and I've seen Monkeys go for it before, and to great success. This, to me, says that the Templar Assassin and Broodmother want nothing to do with each other's lanes, or else stacking those orbs might be a little bit ineffective. Could also be BKB, or the off-chance Maelstrom for the Brood. We'll have to wait and see what she ends up settling on with this Mythril Hammer of her own. Keat Stars now are forced to group up. They can't go anywhere that they're alone, or else they're just going to be eaten alive by spiders, or the Slaughter is going to destroy them. They need to find something with this smoke, and that something, ideally, would be Monkeys. They've tried for this one before. Right now, the Broodmother's in the lane. The whole spider army is spotting them out. Or at least some of them. The smoke is now expired. They're going to look for the initiation angle. The Dust is going to connect the snowball afterwards. Monkeys is going to be punched, power shot, and will go down. Even with a little bit of lifesteal from the ultimate. It's going to be a BKB rush from the Broodmother.
Oh, Spiderlings. Like 3 or 4 will die, giving some gold over, but a whole lot more will die to the shards. And, well, Shockwave is a little bit out of range, but yeah, this Broodmother, first of all, has to make sure to not die because she gives over so much. But also these spiderlings, you gotta be careful. At this point, the Splinter Blast is maxed out, the shards are maxed out, as well as the power shot. So all of the very few AoE tools that Keystars have, they will be thrown towards those spiderlings if they actually have the chance. But Archon, they are going to smoke now into the Roche pit. And I don't think Keystars are going to see this one coming. They should have this kind of on the mind because, again, you're going up against Slaughter with the TA. But by the time they actually get over here to check it, it's probably going to be too late.
Double damage TA, minus armor from Amp. This is a very easy Roshan for Archon. Even without the slider, Templar Assassin could do this. It drops so very quickly, and they're going to be able to destroy it, get a second life for Jao, and his Desolator's almost done. As scary as this Brute is, there's also a Templar Assassin in this game, who's been left alone after the very early landing stage, which worked out very nicely for Yuka, but he's been forced to rotate around to help the team. By no means is this hurting the Wind Ranger a lot. He's 3-0-3 and contributing a good amount to these team fights. But the Templar Assassin's happy that he's been moved off of his lane after dying very early on. Jao has had a lot of farming time and is now on pace.
I think perhaps the most surprising thing about this game is the fact that this Crystal Maiden is actually super underfarmed. You wouldn't expect Crystal Maiden to be rich at all, but with the amount of space that Broodmother and Slaughter have been making on the bottom lane, you would expect the CM to at least have upgraded boots by now, just because she could just walk into the jungle and Frostbite, not worry about anyone, or go into the top lane even. She's going to pick a fight with Oposa. That's pretty ballsy.
Right now, the Phantom Assassin doesn't really know where everybody is, and it's looking like they're going for a charge onto Yuka. They're going to find the initiation. Enchantress ties to the Slider in the meantime, and now looking to cancel his TP. They're just going to smack her in the face. They don't even need a bash earn. They'll kill off another as Broodmother snags the Tusk, and bottom lane Archon get 3 unanswered kills, and now Slider is sprinting across the map looking for this kill on the Winter Wyvern. If she's not careful in the mid lane, she's getting charged as Fluff and Stuff is coming for her. Ends up canceling that one. I think that's probably the right move, but right now, Archon have so much momentum going their side with the second life on tier. I think they can just hit this tier 2, and if anybody comes to try and back them up, they'll get demolished. The Winter Wyvern is getting chased by the Slaughter. He knows exactly where she is, and now with the crush, Winter Wyvern is going to take the amp damage. The damage is immediately enough to kill her off. Will be able to pop that Cold Embrace, dusting up monkeys. The Tusk is going to Walrus Punch this Broodmother's Phantom Assassin jumps in, knocking enough crits. That impetus is going to hurt a lot. Now Snowball forward. It's going to stun both the Broodmother and the Spirit Breaker, but one more munch, and Broodmother's gonna kill off that Tusk. Still amped up. Now Templar Assassin joins the fray, going for Bestius. You don't need any more than one auto attack when it does that much damage. Jeez. Enchantress ceased to exist. They'll get the Aegis. She was shackled up to Fluff and Stuff, and they'll be able to power shot her down. That's nice and all, but still Archon are getting so much more in these fights, and now we're gonna turn that into towers.
That was like a 3 for Aegis, 4 for Aegis, something like that, and this time the Crystal Maiden with that free space, well, pushing top lane, and also, well, he's gonna get hunted down by Yuka. The backup is coming. Crystal Maiden with the sickest of jukes running in a straight line, but I don't think this is happening.
They'll get her. That's a very easy kill on the Crystal Maiden. Still not with those upgraded boots on her person. They're in the stash with those tranquils. Wouldn't have made a lick of difference there. Tier 2, however, is still going to fall, and Crystal Maiden's a small price for Archon to pay. Despite how well their team is doing, the Crystal Maiden is still being out-farmed by the Tusk, and is just neck and neck with the Winter Wyvern. All of the space that they've made with the Slaughter moving and with the Broodmother getting kills left, right, and center has been given to this Spirit Breaker, who's almost done with a Shadow Blade. A lot of farm for a Spirit Breaker in that quote-unquote 4-position support role, but he's looking like an offlaner. In fact, is very close in net worth to that of the Phantom Assassin and the Wind Ranger. Getting a Silver Edge this game is so good, and I kind of like that they're prioritizing Spirit Breaker over the CM, although getting more impact from the CM with a mobility item is great. I think disabling Phantom Assassin's passive and even the Enchantress's passive is more important.
And now with this pickup, Archon can actually play this with a little bit more of the 4-1 style.
Shackle up towards top. Ooh, that was slick onto Whitebeard. Snowball forward. The Crystal Maiden again looks like she's going to go down very shortly. It's going to take him a couple more right clicks, and Whitebeard turns with the ultimate, crushing from Slaughter. She's going to survive, and Yuka gets demolished. Meld Strike, and that's another one to fall. Oh, they don't even get the CM. I really like that shackle angle. It was through the trees, onto the creep. Beautifully done there, but they didn't have the appropriate follow-up damage, and Archon react in force.
Also, the extra flavor points of Crystal Maiden stuck in ice shards, channeling Freezing Field. I love it. I love Absolutely. It so much, but, oh, they're going to find the Winter Wyvern. She's really dead, and Leposa might be dead, too.
They're gonna look for the Nether Strike, connects, amp damage. They're missing a couple of their auto attacks, a lot of their auto attacks, but eventually they'll be able to bring her down. Phantom Assassin can't stand against that many heroes, and meanwhile in Broodland, Monkeys Forever is taking down a tier 3 to less than half HP. They need to deal with this Brood. If you deal with the Brood, you're gonna lose your tower top to the Desolator TA. There's just no good route for them to go for. They're charging this Enchantress under her tier 3, and they're going to be able to make it work. Connects, the spiders are there, the Untouchable is a nuisance, but Monkey still gets the kill, and now Yuka needs to be very careful. She can't deal with this amount of units, although now that Tusk comes in with the Ice Shards, looks like they're going to be repelled, but the reinitiation potential from Archon is definitely there. Slaughter's around the corner with the Blink and the Force Staff. The only thing that's really missing for them is the Templar Assassin, and that's because she's been taking down that tier 2 tower on top, and now taking a tier 2 and bottom.
Oh, they snowball out.
Looks like he's fine for now. They don't pull the trigger. They are going to respect the fact that Keystars have everybody but the Enchantress up, and even she would be respawning just a couple of seconds. Their Crystal Maiden, Templar Assassin are mid, and even though they are very far ahead, still taking the fight 3v4, probably not advisable. They'll just be happy that they're getting this structure for free, really.
Well, bottom lane, Slardar.
Yeah, they're going to get the Winter's Curse. They bring down Mood. That's going to be really nice for him. Walrus Punch onto the Spirit Breaker. And with these impetuses, Fluff and Stuff is going to drop pretty low, but he charges into them, trying to buy space for the rest of his allies to get out. Crit from the dagger and jump in. They'll be able to bring him down. The Winter Wyvern getting the kill. Credit. Archon are going to leak a couple of heroes on the retreat, but they get so much from the fight that happened previous. I think it's fine unless they lose Templar Assassin and Crystal Maiden in mid. The Enchantress gets demolished by the Broodmother in bottom lane. Phantom Assassin can't keep on going. Still, only those 2 kills give Keystars like 3,000 gold. That just goes to show how far behind they were. It was more than a 20,000 net worth advantage at one point for Archon, 15,000 in experience, and it's still very much up there.
All right, so at that point when Monkeys Forever was working down that tier 3, Archon demolished the entirety of the top lane, almost destroyed the tier 2 mid lane as well. And the point I was trying to make before they, decided to get all the towers and all the structures in the game was that Archon can actually play this now with all heroes active, like Templar Assassin. She has the Blink Deso. She's ready to go. This is Templar Assassin at her prime. Brood now has an Assault Cuirass. Like, seriously, 20 minutes Assault Cuirass is disgusting in and of itself with BKB Hand of Midas Treads on top of that. Is so wrong. Archon can actually just put all 4 heroes, minus Broodmother, of course, on the top lane, or, mid lane, would have them, and then just have Broodmother do her thing on the bottom lane. And Keystars, they need, well, definitely more than 1 hero to deal with this Broodmother. They need 2, maybe even 3 if they're going to kill her off, since she still has a 10-second BKB charge. Then how many heroes do they have to handle the rest of Archon? Like, they just don't have enough heroes in the game right now. Give Keystars another 3 heroes, like 8 versus 5, and maybe they can do this.
True Blue caught out in mid, going to get demolished. Easy kill for them. Keystars can't leave their base. But the biggest issue for them is they're just not able to keep up when it comes to farm. The Wind Ranger has Sir Aghanim Scepter done. That's nice and all. And not even a terrible timing, but they're charging for more. Going down to the bottom lane, Laposa, he's gone for a Demon Edge. I don't care what this is. It's not going to save your life here. The Shackle isn't going to latch. Broodmother's going into tier 4s, gets Winter's Cursed, as all for Spider's going to start smacking away at her. The impetus is flying, even through the BKB. Monkeys is going to be dropped low, but with the lifesteal, yeah, is surviving for way too long. They can't bring her down. Melt Strike the Tusk, and now look for the Enchantress. They just call it. It's GG. Good game, well played, Archon. With this aggressive draft of mode over Keystars, there wasn't a time in this game where it felt like Keystars had a significant lead, except for the very early laning stage, and even then it was just slight.
The classic walk into tier 4 towers 20 minutes in and not even die because you have an Assault Cuirass. Like, this is just Keystars getting, as you said, just absolutely bowled over. And it's maybe partially because they weren't necessarily prepared enough for this Broodmother, but again, this is the exception to the Broodmother rule. Most of the time, Broodmother games aren't like this, but like they saw her coming. It was a very early pick. Was it 2nd pick Broodmother?
2nd pick Brood.
They had all their picks really to handle her, and this is what happened. This is what they ended up with.
732 GPM Broodmother. She's supposed to be farmed, not that farmed. We'll be moving on to game number 2, and expect Brood to be very early banned. I don't think Keystars want to have anything to do with the Spider Lady. See you in a minute. Grandin's feed, Mike Loris. Back to you soon.